it's Mandy here again, and I am very, very excited today because I have here with me Alice Smeets, who is the creator of the Ghetto Tarot. Hello, Alice.
Hi, Mandy. So nice to be here.
Oh gosh, well, I'm so excited about this. Honestly, when we started doing the deck of the week, which was several months ago, right from day one, I thought, I'm going to do the Ghetto Tarot, but I'm going to wait until we've got a little bit of an audience because I want to see if Alice will actually come along and talk about it, that we can kind of combine with it, because your deck is something way beyond just a tarot deck. That's how, I mean, even talking about it now, it sounds like I'm being over the top, but it just hits me, kind of the whole story kind of that goes with it is amazing. And as a tarot reader, you know, the tarot is all about real life and stories. So my God, that deck is powerful. That's incredible. So yes, I mean, I do want to kind of talk about the Ghetto Tarot, but before we get to that, please, can you just enlighten us a little bit how you came to be a tarot reader in the first place? If you could just explain what happened when you got your first deck of tarot cards.
Sure. Well, I started out to be a photographer very young, and I was a photojournalist and documentary photographer. And one day, like, I was always looking for very interesting stories. And you must know that back then I was very not into the world of magic and all of that. But then I heard that there were some people in Europe that called themselves witches. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That sounds like a great story that I would love to photograph. And so I started going to witchcraft meetings, Wiccan meetings, and get kind of introduced into this whole world. And at some point, they allowed me to take photos, and I did a whole photo series. But while I was doing that, I got really introduced to the world of magic and all these magical things. And it was like, oh, wow, lots of, like, at the beginning, I was still a little bit suspicious, but the more and more I spent time there, the more I opened up to it, and it became part of my life too. And part of that documentary, I photographed witchcraft weekend retreat, and the leader was a tarot reader, and it was part of the workshop to also read the tarot. And he did a tarot reading for me, and that was really amazing. And actually, at the end of the weekend, he gave me a deck, and then I went back to him several times to photograph him more often, and I learned about tarot from him. And he has like the most amazing methods to teach tarot in such a simple way that I was really able to pick it up fast. And then I took my deck home. It was a right-away deck, and I started practicing for myself, and that was in 2008.
Fantastic.
It was already back then. In that this is actually, his name is Marcus Katz.
I was just going to say, do you mind saying who that was? Because I did, yeah, because he's pretty well known. So what a great introduction to the tarot.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. That is, and I think that's a little bit like anything. You know, if you've got the right person that introduces you to it, that can literally be the thing that triggers off the whole journey. But it sounds like you came to it. It was like you were meant to. It feels like it was very organic, you know, and intended. That's fantastic. So when was your first kind of like time for going to Haiti?
And that was even earlier, in 2007. So I actually know Haiti very well. I have, it was the first country I went to as a photographer. I was very interested in the history, and Haiti is also very magical and interesting. It's like a place where, you know, I'm somebody, I ask myself so many questions, and I need to find, like, I always ask myself the question, and I want to find the answers. And then once I find the answer, I move on to the next thing. But Haiti was really difficult to find the answer, but that's what fascinated me so much. It was so interesting, so complex, and to get to understand this country was a very big teacher for me. So I kept on going back, and then at some point I even lived there. And then when I created the Ghetto Tarot, I wasn't living there anymore, but I had really gotten to know the country very well. I had lived there for 2 years with my Haitian boyfriend, ex-boyfriend now,
Oh,
and
that's
yeah,
amazing. So you were kind of like blending two things that you felt passionate about. So actually, so one of the questions that I
well,
had,
3 actually.
pardon?
I said 3 actually. It was 3 things that I blended together, which is
Oh, the
photography, Haiti,
and the tarot.
and the tarot.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's very Three of Cups, if ever there was a Three of Cups kind of, you know, definition.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what one of the questions that I did have, which I think you've kind of answered it, was, but I don't know, maybe there's a bit there's more layers to it. Was it the people of Haiti that inspired you to do the tarot project, or was it the tarot that inspired you to do it with the people of Haiti? But you know, or did it really just all naturally come together?
Well, so already in 2008, when I was at the workshop with Marcus Katz, he saw my photos because I was there to photograph, and he said, "Oh, you should do a photography deck." And he showed me a photography deck that he had. And so the idea was planted in 2008, but then it took me several years to actually do it because I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, but I don't really have enough photos yet. Like he was suggesting I match the photos that I already have to create a tarot deck, like to do tarot cards and create a deck like that. But I loved the idea, but I didn't feel the inspiration, and I always act on inspiration.
Right.
And it was until 2014, I was actually on my way to Haiti to visit a friend for her wedding, and I was planning to do a holiday. So I hadn't planned to do the Ghetto Tarot, but I had my tarot cards with me, and I was in a meditation in New York because I always do stop over New York when I go to Haiti, and was doing a meditation class. And during the meditation, the idea came to me. It's just like, you need to do your own tarot deck in Haiti with the people like that are your friends. And so it just happened. So I arrived in Haiti. I'm like, okay, do this now instead.
That's
And
incredible.
it was the most amazing thing I had ever done in my life, because it was such an inspiration, that it was so much fun to do, and everything worked out. There was no obstacle. It just was, everything was perfect. I had people lined up every day to work with me, to be the models. I knew immediately where I wanted to take every photo. It was just so amazing that we could photograph all of these 78 cards in 2 weeks, which
That was
is
one of my
like,
questions. So you did the whole
would,
thing in 2 weeks. Did you know which models you were going to use for which cards? I mean, how did you choose the specific people for the specific cards?
I would choose, first of all, the first thing I did, like it was 2 weeks of shooting the photos and 5 days of preparation beforehand. So during the preparation, I had my right-away deck with me. So I would look at each of the cards and I would think like, where can I take this photo? And then the image immediately came, because also, yeah, I could only do it in 2 weeks because I knew Haiti inside and out. I knew every corner of Port-au-Prince. So I immediately knew, this I'm going to do there, and this image I'm going to photograph there, and this there. And so
Right.
I would put all the photos, all the photos I wanted to take in one place. I would make them on this, or put them on the same day. So I would
I see.
bundle them together,
Yes.
and then I would just ask my assistant. I had one of my good friends was my assistant, and I would ask him, for tomorrow I need one young man, one older man, one young woman, one child. Can you get that for me? And then every day I got there, I even had people to choose from because so many people showed up. They all wanted to participate. And then I would just look at the photo and be like, I would look at the tarot card and be like, who of these people would match the tarot card best? And I'd be like, you, okay, let's go. And they would be all excited
Wow.
to join.
So were there some disappointed people at the end that never got onto the deck, or did they all get there in one way or another?
Everybody got there.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
at least in there once.
And did any of the people there, other than yourself, have any understanding of the tarot prior to this project?
Well, the voodoo priest in Haiti, voodoo is very present in the Haitian culture,
Right.
and the voodoo priest uses a normal card deck to read cards for people. So, and these people that I worked with, they go to the voodoo priest regularly, so they are very used to the voodoo priest showing them up, looking at the cards and giving them advice based on the cards. So it's not exactly the same thing. They don't know the tarot with images like we know it now.
Yes.
They have like an original form of tarot, and so I just showed them.
But the concept of it kind of was not new to them. So
yes.
Did you use any artificial lighting in the photos, or was it all just natural light? Or it all looked
all natural light.
Yeah, fantastic. And did that affect what time of day at all you chose to shoot any of the particular photos? Yeah.
Yes, every in the mornings I would get up at 5 because the light was the best at 5:36. So we would all start working really early.
What month was this that this was all shot?
December 2014.
December, okay. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. And then at lunchtime, the sun is really, really harsh, so you can't take any photos outside. So starting from 10:30, 11 until like 3, we would take all the photos inside.
I see.
And in the afternoon, again, we would go outside.
Fantastic.
Catch the last.
Okay, one little specific question I'm going to throw in here. How long did it take you to take the photograph of the fool? Because that dog is just being absolutely perfect in it. Was that hard? Was that hard?
No, it was amazing. This is another of the really great stories of how easy it was for me to take this to take the photos, because that morning that I wanted to photograph the fool, I was like, how do I get a dog? And then a little baby dog was just in front of me, and I'm like, oh, to the owner, do you mind if I take a photo with your dog? And she's like, no, just go ahead. And so I took the dog. We walked for 5 minutes, and I placed the dog there, and the dog knew the boy that the fool was, like, who presents the fool.
Okay.
And so he was just standing there, and I think it took me 10 minutes to take the photo.
That is unbelievable. That's incredible. I've got a little dog, and I sort of sometimes try to take photos of my dog that I know what I want the dog to do, and it's impossible, but to try and get it. So, wow. Now, I also want to ask about the lovers card. Were they a couple?
They were really good friends, but they were not a couple.
I don't know. There was just a very, very kind of natural sort of energy there with those two people that was lovely, and I did wonder. Yeah.
They grew up together, so they're like more like a sibling love than a
lovers love. But you could definitely sort of pick up on the kind of, the trust that was there. It was just really nice. How much direction did you give each of the models? I mean, did you just put them into the positions and say, did you get into the emotion of it with them? Did you give them sort of deeper direction? Because everybody seemed to nail it throughout the whole deck.
Yeah, no, I did give them direction, but I must say that they are also really amazing actors, because I placed them where I wanted to have them.
Yes.
And I would ask them to look a specific way, and they would do it right away. It was incredible how well they did it. And there was just maybe 2 photos that I redid because I felt like it's something missing. It's not right. I'm going to choose another person.
Only 2 out of 78 had to be redone.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. It was the death card. The death card first. I have a different version of the death card, and it was done with a man who was too young, and so it was not as powerful. And then so
Yes,
I switched
it
the
is an
actor. And
amazing image. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, what I'm going to do, I will be showing all of the 78 cards. We're going to photograph them properly and show them separately. So I wanted to ask you about the lion. I mean, because you said that these are all artistic people, aren't they, that you worked with? Was that lion, that white lion, made especially for this deck, or just did it happen to be lying around, this beautiful lion?
it was my friend that I was staying with. She had that lion in her house.
Ah,
So if it's
perfect.
like, oh, I need a lion. Oh, there is one. Perfect.
That's
But
incredible. That is
I would love to tell you my very favorite story of like
yes, please.
the card, the Five of Pentacles. Do you see the did you see the snow in the Five of Pentacles
Yes,
card?
that was one of my questions. How did you do that? Are you willing to share the secret?
Yeah, it was. This is my favorite story because I was getting the answers for every card of how to do it very easily. And then I was thinking about the Five of Pentacles. How do I do it? I don't have any snow. There is nothing that resembles snow in Haiti. Maybe I have to really reinvent a card. And I just asked a question very open into the universe. And I already started. It was day one of photographing other cards. And I went very close to where I was living. And I saw a man in the background, like not far away, and he had a sleeping bag in his hand, and the sleeping bag was broken, and he was shaking it, and lots of feathers came out, and it looked like snow. And I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. and
That's
um,
unbelievable.
and I
Oh my
went over to
God.
him and I said, can I have your sleeping bag? And he looked at me and he said, sure, but you need to give me a new one because I needed to sleep. And that same morning, I had actually gone through my stuff that from what I went when I was living in Haiti, and I had a sleeping bag. And I was thinking, I need to give this away to someone because I don't need it anymore. And so
Unbelievable.
this guy was like, give me a sleeping bag. So I'm like, okay, just wait 5 minutes. I'll get my sleeping bag. And I gave him a new sleeping bag, and I got his broken one. And then
That
I could
is
use
an
that.
incredible story. And I will think of that every time now. I think that I read like the Five of Pentacles coming up. And that was on my list of things, like how did you do the snow? A lot of the questions that I have already sort of been answered. One of the interesting ones was one of the cards that took me by surprise, because a lot of the cards, as soon as you see it, you recognize it from the original deck. But tell me about the devil, because that is a very unusual image. Is that a voodoo image, or tell me?
This is just the image of statue, like a sculpture that the artists that I was working with, they created. And it's called Baron Criminel, which is one of the Loas in the Voodoo religion, who is the one who resembles the devil, like who like calls you in to do, like to tempt you. And
So that was a very
so
so sorry, did the statue already exist before you did the deck then? I see. And this is very authentic for that energy of that card for the people of Haiti. That makes a lot of sense now. Yeah. Okay, that's
yes.
marvelous. Yes. Oh, that was another one. Yeah, the Six of Cups. We love that card. I use that card. We were doing our we're doing a series of kind of like describing what all the cards are, one card per video, and I used your Six of Cups the other day, and I just wondered, were the tires painted especially for the deck, or is that part of a playground that's there?
It's a playground.
Right, because I mean they were so beautiful. I thought, oh, they've got to, they can't just have this just for this one photo. Like, this looks like real fun. Those tires were just so gorgeous. That's amazing.
Yeah,
And
most of the things I just took from like that there were already there. Haiti is an incredibly beautiful country, and because I know it so well, I could be like, oh yeah, that would look really good in this card, and so I did this. The only things that were specifically made for the Ghetto Tarot
yes,
were the pentacles, you know, the pentacles
right,
that you see
yes.
in the cards, them. And then you see like the moon card. You have the dog, the wolf, and I don't know how you say it in English, crab or don't know,
The crustacean, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So they
yeah.
were made out of old car tires, and then you have the cat from the Queen of Wands, who is also made out of old car tires.
What about the Wheel of Fortune? Because that's an
Oh
incredible
yes,
sort of piece of art.
yes. Well, that was also made for it. This is but it was more like it was just painted on the ground. So yeah.
Oh, I see. And also another thing that I was really impressed with was the frame around the world card. I mean,
Mhm.
that already exists, and you just put her in that frame. I mean, how did that work?
Yeah, it's actually the place where I was staying. My friend, it's her mirror. Yeah.
Ah, yeah, that was gorgeous. It was just perfect.
Yeah.
There was another card. Oh, yes, the Three of Pentacles. The design on the kind of like the top of the building looks like a Jewish candelabra. As soon as I saw it, I sort of recognized that as two Jewish candelabras. Was that deliberate? Was that just an accident that it looked like that?
Well, both. At first it was an accident, and I'm like, oh wow, this looks really great, and that really fits the card. So it was,
Yeah.
but it was
So
more
that was
it was more
another
an
sort of lucky coincidence then.
yes,
I'm
yes.
sure that I mean it would just be fascinating for people to go through every single card, and like that story now for the Five of Pentacles is so amazing. I'm assuming then that the totems that you used already existed then as part of the voodoo culture, did they? Most of them.
Which one do you? What do you mean by
There were
totem?
various sort
The
of like there was the one above the people in the Two of Cups, and there was also
oh
kind of
yes.
in the King of Brooms. You've got kind of a queen looking totem kind of next to him. So
I was just going to say that these they were not specifically made for the Ghetto Tarot, but the people that I worked with, the people you see in the cards, they are from an artist collective called Artistes Résistants, and they have an art gallery, and all the pieces you see are pieces they have already created, and they match the card.
yeah,
So if a card had a special like meaning that it needed to have, I would ask them, do you have any, is there any one of your pieces of art that represents this? And then they would give me a piece of art that represents this, and then I would put that
perfect.
in the card.
How did you choose the cards that I mean you've got like the Queen of Wands on the box on the front cover. How on earth did you choose which card to put on the front? I mean, that must have been impossible. I mean, she's a great
It was
choice,
very,
but
it was very easy. It was just a gut feeling. I feel like when I created this deck, I was the Queen of Wands, and
I love that.
so it just
Okay,
felt right to put that on the cover.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Since creating the deck, I mean, to your knowledge, have any of the kind of the people taken up the tarot that live there?
No, because in the Haitian culture, it's like very like it's the voodoo priest who does it. So
Okay, so
they go to the voodoo
they would be
priest when they
treading on
want to.
his toes to go. Right, okay.
Yeah.
And have they kind of all of the kind of props and things that were used in it? Are they sort of displayed? I mean, is there any kind of recognition still of that deck, of that project that still exists? If someone was to visit Haiti, would is there any kind of like display of it anywhere, the deck or the things that were used in it now?
Well, the art gallery with all the art pieces that are in the deck is still there. I'm sure like many of the art pieces have already been sold, but some of them may still be available. And it's in Port-au-Prince. If you're in Port-au-Prince, there
Right.
is a street called Grand Rue, which just means big street,
Yes.
translated.
Okay.
And if you go and you look up artistes résistants, or you just go onto that street and you ask people, show me where artistes résistants are, and then they will bring you to a place which is like it's like a slum area, but you enter it and it's full of magical art pieces and sculptures and crazy things, and then you enter in it, and then you're in the art gallery. And also every 2 years they organize an art biennale where they invite international artists to join together with the Haitian artists so they can create art together. And then it's a big festival where also like internationals come to
Amazing. So
see
I
the
would,
art.
this project has drawn more attention to them and their work as well then, would you say?
Yeah, but they already had attention before it. Like, I don't want
Okay.
to say that it was the Ghetto Tarot brought them the attention. They already had this art
Right.
biennale before. The Ghetto Tarot was actually inspired, the name, because it was called, they have a Ghetto Biennale. So it's like, I'll make a Ghetto Tarot when if you have the Ghetto Biennale. So that's
How
how.
amazing. And these photos that we're using for our backdrops, these are original photos taken by you. Where are they?
Well, they're also in Haiti. The one that is behind you is a beautiful beach in
Yes.
Haiti. This is actually taken in the beach house of my ex-boyfriend. So
Wow.
really, really beautiful.
Oh,
And the one that is in my background, I took that when I was in a helicopter flying over the mountains in Haiti.
how amazing. How amazing. And I did read that there's another tarot deck that you're kind of involved with at the moment, and that was quite an inspired that came into existence in an inspirational way. Would you like to sort of talk a little bit about that?
Yes, it's actually being delivered right in this moment. So it will arrive on Monday or Tuesday here, and then I'm going to start sending them out because we did a crowdfunding campaign, and we had lots of people who pre-ordered their deck, so they will get it next week if anybody's watching. And this is called the Gift of Life Tarot. And I have used photos from my career as a photojournalist that I have taken all around the world. So you will have like 13 different countries from all around the world, from all different continents. And I've used photos that already existed, and I matched them. I chose the photo that matched best the archetype of the card or the meaning of the card, so that you can have like a real life version of the archetype or of the meaning of the card. So if this card would become alive, what would it look like in the world? And that's what the Gift of Life Tarot is about. It's
That's
all real life
amazing.
moments.
Now, is it possible for anyone who didn't know about this crowdfunding project to get hold of this deck?
Yes, both decks are available in my Etsy shop.
That is absolutely marvelous. And I've got to tell you my little story. But after I heard about the Ghetto Tarot, I ordered it, and I thought, I've got to have this deck. And when the deck arrived, it was in this absolutely huge box, and I thought, what is this? What is this? And in actual fact, I'd made a mistake, and instead of ordering the deck, I ordered the book. Now you can just see how huge this book is. It's amazing. I'm just opening it on that page, right? This is the most beautiful book ever. So even though I didn't intend to buy the book, I'm so thrilled with this book. And this book, it tells you all about Alice, and it tells you all about Haiti, and it's an amazing thing to have. And I do have it's over here behind. I do, since then, I have sort of also got the actual deck, which I will be talking about in our deck of the week. But I would can people still get the book, or was that a limited?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
no,
gorgeous.
you can get the book. You can The book is actually was published with a publisher, while the deck is self-published. So you can order the book through any bookshop. You can go on any online bookseller and they will have it, because they use a very good distributor.
It's absolutely gorgeous, and obviously the images are really large, so you can really see them, you know, in their full glory. It's lovely. So Alice, thank you so much. Honestly, I know that I'm going to finish this interview and think, oh, I should have asked her this, I should have asked her that. I know, because the whole story is so real and it's so fascinating, and the story just kind of speaks out of the cards. I think it's an exceptional deck. I mean, we're doing lots of decks of the week, and we've been doing it, I don't know how many we've done now, maybe 20, and we've got a whole load more lined up, and there's lots of lovely decks around. There really are. But there's something above and beyond for me with the Ghetto Tarot. There really is. There you are. There you are on the box.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, honestly, it's just marvelous that you've come along and had this interview, and I'm looking forward now to doing the kind of like the deck of the week to go with it, and I hope everybody enjoys it, and you know that this will draw more attention to you and what you do. I mean, do you have, my last question is, do you have any other ideas in mind? You might want to kind of not want to sort of divulge them yet, that merge the tarot with the photography.
Yes, I have, but I can't talk about it yet.
Well, keep us posted. When you can talk about it, make sure you let us know, because yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us will be really kind of keen to see those images. So thank you so much, Alice.
Thank you too.
Bye for now.
Bye.